So hello guys, welcome to this video. In this video I have tried to I've tried to explain what backpropagation is. Basically it's some of my findings, the way it is easier for me to understand. I've tried to put it. Of course you can go ahead and watch other videos to clear up your understanding until you form your own concept for it. But in simple terms, it is used in artificial neural networks as a learning algorithm to compute gradient descent with respect to weight. Now weight is not going to be this complicated language. I just wrote it as a definition just to start with. Okay, so let's forget this. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so this is an example of a neural network. It is pretty simple actually, contrary to what others believe. This is the input and this is the output, and this is the hidden layer. So from input is basically a number, and it is not a real structure that is present inside your computer. It is something mathematical. So basically it is just like a container that holds a value. It is like a wire. The wire increases the impact. So you can think of it like the wire amplifies the electricity when electricity flows through it. So I'll tell you what is happening. We have our input layer because obviously the input is given by us. So we have our input. Now if we want to calculate what is in this layer, what will we do? We will use this function. It's very simple actually. So W here is the weight is the input that x is the input that we are giving, W is the weight of the line, and B is the bias. Bias is something that is added, weight is something that is multiplied, and bias is something that is added. So you have 10, then say you have a weight of 2, then it will be multiplied, it will become 20. Then say you have a bias of 5, so it will become 25. 25 will be the value here. 25 will not be the value here. The 25 is the value that is coming from this line, but similarly there are 3 other lines. So all we have to do is calculate individually all the inputs from 3 lines and add them up. It is the sum. Okay, then we'll get the final value of this. You can call it, not sure what to call it, this cell. Okay. Now this is obviously very tedious to be done by humans, and it is to an extent tedious. After an extent it is tedious even for a computer. So very powerful hardwares or computers are used in machine learning. So after we get this value, similarly we have to calculate the values that are coming to the output layer, or rather the computer has to calculate. Now the process is similar. Each line has some weight and bias to it, and this weight and bias of these 3 lines will add up to create the value here. Similarly 3 lines will add up to create the value here, and this will be our output. Now where does gradient descent comes in? Okay, so these weights and biases, who decides what the weight or biases will be? Unfortunately it is a very tedious. In fact, the most of the processing done on a machine learning network is to calculate these weights and biases, and unfortunately there is no straightforward way to calculate them. We have to take random guesses and go towards the solution. Okay, so what is backpropagation? Let me tell you what backpropagation is first, then we'll go into little more details, not too much, little more details. So say we get a value here, say the value is 0.2, but the expected value is 0.7. there is an error of 0.5. that error can be used to recalculate rather the weight of this line and the bias of this line, and again the weight of this line and bias of this line. So basically it will flow backward. The computer will flow backward and readjust the values such that this value is closer to the expected value, that is 0.7. it is now 0.2. so what it will do is probably increase the weight and bias and it will try to get closer to 0.7, and ultimately it will get to the closest it possible after many loops, with thousands and thousands of loops. So that is what back propagation is. As the name suggests, it is about going back to check, readjust the values. Okay, now let's go to the next slide. What is gradient descent? So gradient descent is basically like asking your friend to guess your mark. So first of all, say your mark is 60. When you tell him to guess, say he says 90. Then you say that no, it is not that high, come lower. Then he says, say 70. Then you say, come lower, it is not that high. So then he says 30. Then you say, no, it is not that low either, go up. So he goes to 45. Then you say it's further up. Ultimately, at some point, he might not be able to guess 60 exactly, but he might be able to guess after a long time with certain accuracy, say 59. So to do that, you basically gradient descent method was followed. So instead of it is used for cases where there is no mathematical, your friend has no mathematical method to calculate your marks. So what he does is hit and trial method, but it is a little organized than random guesses. He is taking your input, taking your feedback, seeing that how much error does he have, and accordingly he is adjusting. That is somewhat like adjusting the weights and biases. So that is a method called gradient descent, which is used to train networks to make random guesses. Sorry, that came out wrong. I'll rephrase that. So it is used to train networks for train neural networks through random guesses, but in an organized way. So it gives the steps. This is called the step size, how much step he is taking at a time. So 80, 90, so it is 20. So that is the step size. Basically it is not very important to understand the concept of step size and all, but hope you understand what is happening here. So this is a pictorial diagram of what is happening. So when your friend says 90, then he is at the top. Okay, then he comes down to 70, he is here. Then he comes down to say 50, sorry, then he comes down to say 65. Then he's here, but when he says that it is 30, then he crosses your value. This is your marks. Then he crosses your mark. Then you say that it is not that low either. Go forward. Then he comes here and ultimately reaches very close to it. So this is the process of gradient descent. Okay, so there is another concept called differential function. So basically the computer doesn't see this as a pictorial diagram. Instead, what it does is calculate the differentiation. So once you calculate the differential of a function, what you get is this line. What is this line? This line will have an angle, and according to this angle, according to the steepness of this line, the computer will know how close it is to the answer. So ultimately, when it reaches very close to the answer, the line will not be steep at all. It will be completely horizontal at a perfect scenario, but at most accuracy it will be almost horizontal. So that is how the computer looks at it, because it deals with maths. It cannot visualize it like us. So that is why differential function comes in. So basically a function is differentiable when it can be differentiated and you get a value. So your representation of the data must be differentiable. If you don't understand that, just skip it for now, because almost all functions in used in gradient descent will be given differentiable. Okay, so this is the concept of local maxima or minima. So basically this is our minima. Minima is at the minimum level. Okay, the steepness is minimum, not the value but the steepness, the rate of change of value. Anyway, so this is the maxima where the rate of change of value is again minimum. So the slope is 0, that is, it is horizontal. So this is not used, but this is used. This is called the minima, but this can be used on different cases, but just leave it for now. This is what is used, that is the local minima. So that is the end of the presentation. I'm not sure if I am able to present it very well, but I'll try to make it better and simpler in the next video. Until then, goodbye, take care.